Hi, Steve Gillmor. This is a special edition of the Gillmor Gang, live extremely early on Saturday morning. I'm barely awake, and I can't find any of the gang members. They're all asleep. Okay, well, we've got Robert Scoble. Welcome back, Robert.
What's up?
How's it going?
Pretty good. I'm up and going.
All right. Well, that's good.
You're making a spectacle of yourself there, Robert.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah. What's that? You just glad to see me? Oh, I see.
Yeah, I got something new on my face.
So the thing is it's the new dentist look, basically.
Yeah. You know, I can walk up to people and look in their teeth.
Okay. And the other guy is John Taschek.
These are traditional glasses, not the modern style Borg glasses.
Awesome.
And good morning.
Good morning, John.
Good morning, Robert. It's a wonderful day.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
So I can actually show you what I'm seeing on my glass. So, okay, glass. Record a video. And now I'm recording a video of the Gillmor Gang. Yeah.
Excellent.
Wow, connected device.
All right. So,
Yeah,
Robert,
isn't that cool?
why don't you walk us through what actually you've discovered about this and what happened the first minute? Did this arrive or did you go pick it up?
The early, this is really an alpha. It's, I wouldn't even call it a beta, at least not a traditional Google beta, you know, because wasn't Gmail like beta for 8 years or something? It's an early product, in other words, and it's meant for developers only. In fact, I snuck in because I got to go to the Google I/O conference last year, and they sold them for $1,500 to everybody who was there and who was a U.S. citizen. And I was one of the first ones in line. So, anyways, you have to go down to Google, and it takes about, 25 minutes. It took me an hour because we were having Bluetooth problems. And they set it up, and they teach you a few things with it, and just watch your first couple reactions. They're really trying to learn what the problems will be, what the first experience is going to be like, and see how people react to these. And I think that's pretty smart to go slow right now. But it requires a smartphone. It really requires Android with Bluetooth 4.0 stack, which I don't have. So my batteries are going dead a little bit faster than it would on a newer phone, or not even a newer phone because this is a brand new phone, but a phone with the latest Android on it, which Verizon does not offer yet.
Now, when you say phone, where's the phone?
My smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
What version of Android do they need?
It's working okay with 4.1.1, but it really wants the, and I keep forgetting the latest. Is it ice cream sandwich or jelly bean?
Jelly bean is the newer.
It really wants. Yeah, I'm all confused right now. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. It really wants jelly bean because it wants the low power Bluetooth or Bluetooth 4.0 they call it to sync up to the phone. And this is why, actually, when we were having Bluetooth problems and I'm at Google, they're like, oh, if it doesn't work on your phone, you might switch over to the iPhone because the iPhone has a really nice Bluetooth stack. And it's like, wait a second, I'm at Google and you're telling me to use my iPhone. There's something broken here. But they actually released an update a day later that fixed my phone's problem, so it's working fine now.
I've had a Razor for about 6 or 7 months now, and it's had Bluetooth 4.0. I mean, and you have a new phone that doesn't have it? That's kind of
well. I don't know if it doesn't have it. I don't think it does. And they said the Bluetooth stacks on Android are janky, have problems.
Fragmentation rules.
It's I wish Google could solve this problem because I really want the latest Android on my phone. I just got this device, I don't know, a month ago from HTC. It's a brand new device. It's actually a pretty nice device. The screen is really high resolution, much higher resolution than my iPhone. But I can't get the latest Android on there, you know, and it's a year old now, right?
Yeah. So when I thought you were getting a Samsung.
Well, those aren't out yet, so either somebody has to PR me one, which they haven't seen fit to do, or I have to wait until what, April 14th or
Yeah,
some
something like that.
April.
They said
April.
it's already past April 14th, unless you're talking
Yeah,
about
April.
next
I'm
year.
sorry.
They
Uh,
said Verizon at the store said it will be available at their store in a month.
yeah, and God knows what version will have. The other problem is I'm going to go to Google I/O in a month. It starts May 14th, right? And I'm sure there's going to be a new device there. So, so do I buy the Samsung device or wait for the next Nexus phone that Google's going to hand out at Google I/O? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you go through this little class and they teach you how to, how to swipe. You turn it on by touching it, so that turns it on. Or you can look up. Let me adjust it so I can actually see it. Or you look up and that turns it on as well. And then once it's on, it has a prompt screen called OK Glass, which just switched because I said OK Glass.
What does it look like in your head? I mean, what are you seeing?
Let me see if I can. Right now, yeah. So I'm seeing exactly what you're seeing. So OK
No, but I mean,
Glass.
how big is it? Like, is it in the corner of your eye? Is it taking up one eye?
It
I mean,
looks like it. If you were there, it looks like just about right about
I have to look at it.
here, except it's clear. So it's right above your eye line.
That's like
So
translucent. It's like one of those.
yeah, I can see right through the image, and it's pretty cool. It's really sharp. It's just as sharp as that. I can see maps. The maps are really cool because when you move your head, it moves your focal point on the map, and it's pretty cool. What
Now
else does it do?
you wear glasses, right?
Yeah, so I'm wearing them on top. See, that's a device. That's
I
the
see.
device itself, and it's a little dorky looking, you know. Now, what's really funny is people come up to me in the street and start talking to me, including lots of girls, and it's funny that there's a lot of angst online, but on the street, people are excited by this thing. They want to try it, and it'll be interesting to see how mainstream it goes. I don't think it's going to be a fast to mainstream device.
Well, I don't know. I mean, everyone seems to want them, so they've created some kind of demand.
Except I think we're in love with the idea of the futurism of them, and we're
Hi, this is Keith. Can't take a call right now. Please leave a message on my Skype.
Yeah.
Nice,
and,
huh?
and I think we're thinking that they're going to do more than they actually do. My wife thought that they were going to face detect on people, and my other friends thought that they were going to augment the world in some way. They just simply can't do that at this point. The battery dies too fast. In fact, I did a 6-minute video on these, and it ate 20% of the battery. So Google has made some design trade-offs with this that I didn't expect before I got them.
Well, I think they're counting on battery technology improving, which it
Yes.
has.
And this is why I'm wondering if this is the Newton version of these. Apple was clearly ahead of the world when it showed off the Newton, but it didn't go mainstream. It tried to do too much, and it just wasn't ready. The technology wasn't ready. The hardware wasn't ready. The RAM on it wasn't ready. The processor wasn't ready. The price point wasn't ready. And then a couple of years later, we saw the Palm Pilot come out, which was a very constrained device. And that did pretty well, but it hardly went as mainstream as the iPhone has, right? Now, a decade later, we have iPhones and Android phones and tablet PCs and all that, which proved that the idea was right. It was just you had to wait for the technology to get there. I feel that way with this. I'm never going to take these off again. So right away, this is a life-changing technology. It feels like the first iPhone did to me. It's something that will be with me the rest of my life.
What are you
And
using it for? I mean, if it doesn't do the augmentation, if you know, if you're not looking at a TV show and it's giving you
for
interactive things, what is it doing?
For me, the photography alone is transformative and life-changing. The ability to take a picture without touching anything is letting me capture my family in a way that I could never do with a smartphone, and they don't react to me the way that they would if I came up to them with a smartphone like this and started taking
No
pictures.
obstacle.
No, well, first of all, no obstacle, but they know this is a camera. They don't really understand, I think, yet that this is a camera. They sort of understand that, but it's not the same. And my autistic son always wants to look at the screen and see the pictures. He hasn't even asked to see my screen on the glass.
Because he doesn't know you took the picture.
Yeah, because even if he knows that I'm taking pictures because I'm touching it and taking pictures and asking him to post, he just doesn't react to it the same way. And also I can capture him because my camera is always on my face and is always ready, and I can always just touch it and take a picture like I just did right there.
Do it again.
There's a button on top that I can take a picture, or I can do the voice command, "Okay, glass, take a picture." And it just took a picture, and it chimes in my ear.
And is it automatically uploaded to the Google Drive?
And I can scroll through the pictures here, and oh, that's a nice one. And then I can share it to Path or Google Plus at this point, or I can email you or text you the photo.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I assume that's a voice command then.
Mm-hmm. It's voice and touch. So part of it is there's a touch surface right here, and you can scroll forward or back, and then turn it off. You touch it to turn it on, and then there's a button on top right here to take pictures, or if you hold down the button, it takes a video.
Now, what's the reaction? You said you saw people who are fascinated by the glasses, but what's the reaction of people what's your expectation of the reaction of people who just see you doing things with your hand, like this or whatever?
They want to try it, and when I let them try it, I
thought you weren't allowed to let them try it.
I am allowed to let you try it. That's not in the terms of service.
You're just not allowed to give it to them, sell them, or
I'm not allowed to lose possession of them.
You can't lose your glasses, Robert.
Can't lose my glasses because they'll turn them off, right? And by the way, they know that you're not paired with the right account. So they paired it with my Gmail account. It's paired with my Gmail account.
How does it know that you're who you are?
Because you're within 30 feet of my phone. And then I have two-factor authentication turned on my phone. So you would have to steal my phone and my glasses, and then I would turn you off within a few minutes, right? Because I would just go to another computer, sign in and sign you out. And then the glasses, Google will kill the glasses if they lose my possession. So,
but that's an interesting. I mean, the architecture that you're wearing a Google phone with you, you're carrying one with you, and what they've done is amped up the Bluetooth stack and put some kind of visualization in the glasses themselves.
Yep.
That's the glasses are not the communication device. It's just using the technology you might already own or have to buy.
Right. I believe there's Wi-Fi built in the glass and Bluetooth. There is not a cell phone radio in the glasses itself. It talks to the phone and is paired to the phone, and the phone then does the data connection to the cell tower or does the phone call. I can make a phone call with the glasses on too. It's just like a regular Bluetooth.
It's like going into your car or whatever and using the
Kevin
there's
Marks.
a little speaker.
Let me welcome Kevin Marks.
Hey, Kevin Marks.
Hi.
Hi there. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Okay, go ahead, Robert. You were saying?
I was just saying that there's a speaker and a microphone in the glasses, and the microphone's fairly good. I've put up some videos that I've done this week, and it captures my voice really well. If you're in front of me, it captures you sort of not so well. You can still hear that person, but it's not at a level that's very good.
Just like real life.
Can you combine it with like using your phone as the microphone, as an extension of the
Not
microphone?
yet. Not yet. That's a question. You know, it's not very flexible yet, and I don't know how hackable this device is. It's running Android, so I bet some developer is going to get it in the next month or something and totally, you know, jailbreak it or what do they call it?
Root.
Root. Sorry, root the device and get access to the device in a whole new way and do something funny with it. Right now, it does not let you pair other Bluetooth devices to it other than your phone, and it doesn't let you record over the audio. There's not a lot of controls here. They've really tried to simplify and make the experience of using it simple, and they've done a really good job. This is about as Apple-like product that Google has ever done.
Are these the glasses that were designed by the famous eyeglass designer?
No. These were designed in-house at Google. There are when these come out to the market. Now, let's talk about that. We don't know the price. We don't know the availability. We don't know the models. All that's going to come out, I think, next year. I don't think this is going to ship this year. I think it's too much work for Google to get this out on the market by Christmas. I would be shocked if it is. And if it is, it might be a little too early. So I'm thinking this is going to go to customers early next year, probably at the Consumer Electronics Show in January, something like that. We don't know the form factor. They have told me. What's that?
Are they in a rush to get them out, or are they going to? Are they actually competing for wallet share against the watches that are coming out?
Knowing how consumer electronics works, I bet they want to get by Christmas. I bet they want to get these things out so people can buy them, but they're not able to make them in quantity yet, and they're just not ready. I don't think they're ready for a consumer launch yet. So they are working on versions that'll work on the left eye as well as the right eye, and they're working on versions that'll snap on to existing glasses instead of just, like there's a little screw up here, so you could easily unscrew this and put a clip on it and clip it onto my existing glasses. And they're working on that. They're working on models with various like Warburg Parker, right? To come out with better designs or different designs, because these are pretty pedestrian designs. They give you some color choices. I chose the shale, but they come in black, white, tangerine, blue. I forget what the blue color is called, but it's a light blue, white, and yeah. And
have they passed all the legitimate U.S. government standards like the FCC might have for communications, or?
I would assume so, but I don't know.
It's just Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. They don't really need those. That's only if they're doing cell phone radios.
There's something that's in your eye, though. I mean, that must have something to do with driving.
Well, driving is okay. So you want to talk about driving? Because that's a whole driving. There's no state yet that has banned these explicitly, but they have banned distracted driving. So are these distractions? And when you get pulled over, or if you get in an accident, is the cop going to go, "Oh, you're wearing Google Glass, you must have been distracted"? There's a lot of gray area there. And so I think when you're wearing these and driving, you're taking on some liability, and you're opening yourself up to some legal risk. So right there. I am doing that, by the way. I have driven all week with them. I find them not to be distracting at all, because they are not in the eye stream. Looking ahead, there is nothing between me and the road ahead. There's this display that is just slightly above my eye stream, and it too is clear. And so even if I pull it down into my eye stream, I'm seeing through it to the road ahead. It's like having a heads-up display in front of you. And it also doesn't stay on very long. When I turn it on, it stays on for 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. Now this is staying on for a little bit longer than it usually does. So
you're probably moving.
1001, 1002, 1003. So 3 seconds when I usually turn it on by looking up. and so it's on for a very short period of time. The direction is okay. I actually like looking at my smartphone with Waze on it better than I like looking at this glass for some notifications. But this has the advantage of talking to me and showing what the map looks like in front of me and automatically changing the map's direction based on where my head's turned. And that's pretty cool. So anyways, it's a fun device. Is it worth $1,600? Which I paid $1,500 plus tax, so more than $1,600. For me, it is because I'm an early adopter and I, want to come on the Gillmor gang and show it off. And for photography alone, I think it is. But if I was a normal person, I wouldn't consider this stuff until it's under $500. And so that's going to be the interesting thing. What is the price going to be when Google goes public with this, when they actually make it a product that the average person can go into a Verizon store and buy or buy off the internet or whatnot? If it's under $500, I think it's really an interesting product. If it's $800, it's going to be a niche product for a long time.
So can you turn
the prices will come down?
Can
like
you
LED watches?
Yeah.
Can you turn off the phone with the same motion up like that?
Yeah. So it turns on. Okay, glass. And if you call me right now, it would I can say make a call to, and I can call somebody like Miriam. I'm not going to do that. I actually it has a limited number of contacts that you have to preload. So I haven't loaded you, Steve, yet into the glass. Otherwise, I would have called you.
Oh, that's weird. It doesn't use your address book from the phone.
No, because remember, I have 1,200 addresses, and I don't think it has very much RAM or very much memory space, and it's really trying to protect the simplicity.
I thought it had 12 gigs. I mean,
yeah, but the voice response works better when it only expects to see a small number of names.
Gotcha.
And so it really is trying to constrain. Now, will that change over time? I bet it will. There's no notifications in the glass. I know that is coming in a future release. They said they're going to upgrade the glasses every month. So we'll get a new upgrade and new features will show up. It's really, really simplistic at this point.
That display that you were showing.
Yeah.
What is that showing you now?
Nothing, because it's off.
Well, turn it on and then
let me pull it up
so that Kevin can see it. I don't think he saw this.
Yeah.
This is the remote view thing.
You what's on the phone?
Yeah. So this is what I'm seeing on the glass itself. So okay. Glass.
You're seeing what time it is.
And
right.
I can see so okay, glass. Oops. Yeah, I just crashed it.
You crashed it.
You said Google Home has stopped. What does that mean?
It crashed here. So you could tell this stuff is early, right? It's
Google Home, not Facebook Home.
It said Google Home.
Yeah.
So what is Google Home?
I don't know. Something. It showed up in my glass. So I might, this is. I think I just crashed the glass. This is an example of how early this stuff is. It really is not ready yet.
He was such a good student until his glasses failed. Suddenly he had nothing to say.
So I'm shutting it down right now, and then I'll reboot it. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Do you feel sort of bereft now that you have your glasses on?
Yeah, I feel a little naked.
So, you said you were going to talk for an hour about this. You've only talked for about 15 minutes.
Well, what else are we going to talk about? There's not a lot of contextuality here. So when you're scrolling through it, let me actually try to get this rebooted. Okay, it's rebooting. When you actually do get it started up, it lets you see Google Now style stuff. So if you have Google Now on your Android phone, you're already seeing some of the contextual functionality of the glass, which you can't see on an iPhone yet. And let me see if I can pull this up and start screencasting. All right, so I'm going to just scroll through here and show you. All right, so I can show you the pictures that I shot.
Mm-hmm.
There's some web stuff that comes in from Google Plus. So, and I can see some path posts once in a while. Here's a call I made yesterday.
To me.
Yeah. And some news again from Path. So there we go. And I'm going to go back. So
Now,
on
how
the other
did you
side,
go back? What did you do?
So I'm just scrolling with my finger, so I can go back or forward, or left or right, I guess is. So I have settings. I have upcoming schedule stuff. So today Comcast is coming to put in something, and I have a birthday to go to tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to Las Vegas. So this is Google Now. This is predictive, right? This is assistive technology. It's telling me, hey, when you pack today, you better get ready for 66-degree weather. Let me see if I can. And here in Half Moon Bay, it's 52 degrees. The Giants beat the Padres last night, and that kind of stuff. Tomorrow, when I get on the plane, the terminal will be up in the glass, and my flight number will be up in the glass, and that's pretty cool. So it's doing the Google Now kind of stuff of trying to find context out of your email, your searches, and your behaviors, and trying to pull those up as cards, and that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Can you do a map on it? Like just
there is a map. Let me see if I can pull up the map. Hold on a second.
And then what are some of the applications? I mean, obviously they're releasing this to you and a whole set of developers. What are the developers?
Get directions to. I didn't want anything. I didn't say anything.
It just knows.
So it's talking to me now and telling me where to go. Hold on a second.
We could have done that.
Yeah.
I don't need to spend $1,500 for that.
So here I'm turning the glass, and you can see it's telling me which way to go. And
nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because it tells you, oh, you're heading the right direction, and that's the kind of thing that I'm excited by because there is a sensor, a directionality sensor here. You're going to be able to build all sorts of apps that use where are you headed, where are you facing. If you're walking through a mall and you change direction to look at the Gap store, it could do something. And we haven't seen a lot of use of that yet. But clearly that could come from developers. And right now the API is fairly lightweight. It's fairly pedantic. It's not very robust. But I would expect more of that stuff to come along in the next 8 months.
But you can like take a photograph with it and send that to the web for processing and then get a card back effectively, can't you?
Yeah, and that's a good example of where the philosophy is different than the expectation. For instance, let me see if I have these new Basis watches, right? They have a barcode on them. My expectation was I was just going to look at the barcode and it would tell me something about the Basis watch, right? But no, I have to look at it, take a picture of it, or do something. That picture has to go up to the cloud, do processing there, and then come back down to the glass with the result. And so there's a 2-second, 3-second, 4-second delay before you see the result. In other words, it's not it's never going to augment the world. It's not going to be live. And,
gotcha.
And I think they did that, one, to protect against some of the privacy freakiness that these things have. But I also think they did some of that to protect the battery life. There just is not very much battery life when the glass is on. And, if you have that affordance of walking around the world and seeing stuff pop off of stores or off of boxes or off of people, then you're going to want to do that. And there's just not enough battery life to do that for more than 30 minutes and the battery will be dead.
So is there a Bluetooth connection to the phone?
Yeah.
Okay, so they could cut it down by having some sort of pack that you wear. I was expecting to see.
Oh, there's a
The battery's on the back of the ear. Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
there's a micro USB port, and I have already plugged in a Mophie pack, and I carry my Mophie pack with a wire going up to the glass, and that does work. By the way, after all this use, it does get somewhat warm. Um, so that's another problem. Even if you solve the battery life problem, then the glass
Head
itself
warmer.
starts getting a little warm, and they were really sketchy when I said I'm going to hook up an external battery to it and try to use it more, because I think there's a heat problem here that they don't want to encourage too much use of this thing.
So even though you're not going to take it off ever,
No, it's useful just for photography. Yeah. It's useful just for photography. For a journalist tool, it's for me it's life changing already.
okay,
What other applications are going to come out?
Well, Path, there's a few that are already out. Path, Tumblr, Evernote's working on one. Who else was on stage at South by Southwest? There was like 4 or 5. I would expect, that there's going to be a whole lot of games. For instance, if I could really code, I would develop a find the power outlet game just for that. Go around the world, find a power outlet, mark it, and you get a couple points. And then if somebody uses that port, you get 20 points. This would be great for mapping out airports and stuff like that. Because I would love when I get to let me just turn off this map. When I get to when I get to an airport, I'd love to just say, okay, glass, find me a power outlet, and it would navigate me to the power outlet, right? That would be cool. That would be really cool. But the world isn't mapped that way, and there's not an app for that yet, and there's not an instruction for that built into the glass yet. So there's a lot of things that have to happen for that kind of functionality to work in the glass.
But you can sort of approximate that, because if you search Foursquare for power, it'll tell you which cafes nearby have power sockets in.
You could right now. So this is another thing. There is not a full web browser in here. There is the ability to go to Google and ask Google questions, but the answers that come back are very, very shortened. This is, by the way, why I think Marissa Meyer bought that kids technology, Sumly. Because the future, if we are going to be wearing wearable computers in the future that are assistive, you're not going to get a full web browser here. You're going to use your tablet or your phone for that. These are going to be shortened versions. So if you want the news, it's going to shorten a New York Times article that's 2,000 words into 50 words that it's going to fit into the glass. And,
so Circa's laughing then. So they're going to be happy.
Who's that?
Circa.
Yeah. I think a lot of the apps are sort of predicting where they're going because they know that the future is coming here. And I would expect to see Circa or Flipboard do specific things for the glass that will be much shorter and much lighter weight. And partly because Google's forcing to be lighter weight. They give you a card, and that's it. That card is this big, and it only has enough room for 10 words on it. It really doesn't have enough room for a lot of text. Now, I have seen some things with text, about this long, and you can scroll through the text just by looking up and down. That's actually pretty cool.
Well, you can scroll, because I thought the whole point was you couldn't. That's interesting.
No, you can scroll through text. I've done that before. You can scroll through text like this. But it clearly doesn't. It's not optimized for that, right? It clearly is optimized for a display that has 10, 20 words on this card and a little bit of interactivity.
don't mind me.
So what other applications is Twitter going to be on there? And then, but more importantly, what kind of real new applications, not games, but
Well, keep in
I'm
mind
talking about medical
they
professionals or paramedics, or are they gonna be applications for them?
yes, I would expect that there's going to be a lot of work applications and a lot of apps for people like police officers or first responders, that kind of thing. This is really invaluable because if you're having to keep your hands on something, like if you're trying to save somebody's life, right, and you're having your hands on something, having display here with information showing up is really, really useful to you. I find that life changing, right? And I think that there's going to be a whole lot of applications around that. Phil Libin at Evernote said he just wears them around the office, even though he has big screens in front of him, because he likes that kind of ability to pull up lightweight information into his eye. I totally agree with that. I can't wait to get more applications and more things to see lightweight information. If something major in the world happened right now, I'd like to see a notification pop into my eye and say, hey, XYZ news just happened. That's going to be really the place where I think these are going to go. That's why I was disappointed that notifications aren't done yet, but they said they are coming. So we'll have to wait.
I'm also thinking of applications like a connected car where it's connected into OnStar or Toyota Friend or some of those things where if something actually did happen, that it gives you your location is immediately available, and it's also recording things that are around the incident that could be used like for black box.
That will come, but that will take longer, I think. I might be shocked, but knowing how car manufacturers work and how few of these devices are in the world, there's not going to be investment from the car companies anytime soon. I think
Google's in the car business.
No, they're not. They're really not.
They're doing the whole Google car, the driverless car, is a.
That doesn't mean they're in the business.
It's a beta test for the automobile manufacturers.
Yeah, but the self-driving car is, let's be honest, is 10 to 20 years away for the normal person. If you're a billionaire, you probably can get one soon. But before I can afford one of those, it's going to be long time. I've talked to General Motors and Ford and Toyota. They have 8-year cycles to develop new cars, and they haven't even started thinking about it.
Yeah, but the software is changing that. Their software is coming much faster rate.
The problem with self-driving cars, though, you need
not self-driving cars.
$300,000 worth of equipment in the car to make a self-driving car right now.
I'm not thinking like that. I'm thinking along the terms of NASA spent billions to send a spaceship to the moon. Although the Transformers movie, counteracted that.
We're a long way.
No, I'm saying that the technology that is being developed for this can be put into the software because cars are now computers.
I know, but you need sensors. You need sensors. You need you really need a data center in your trunk, which is getting cheaper. I mean, I was hanging out with a 17-year-old kid.
The cloud, and the computer is the phone.
I know, but the processing that car needs is way beyond what your phone has on it. All right, and also, even though the technology mostly works, I mean, it drives next to me every day. In fact, right after I got my Google Glasses, I took a picture of a self-driving car going by. Right, the technology is there, but the lawyers are not going to let it into a product for years. It's just not going to happen anytime soon.
I'm thinking more along the terms of if they're doing something with self-driving cars, there's at least one bit of the technology that can be applied to all cars.
That's true. I mean, my Prius already has a front-facing radar phase array sensor that already follows the car in front of it. If the car in front of me slams on its brakes, my car slams on its brakes. There's already assistive technologies for driving, but getting a full-blown self-driving car is, 5 years away for rich people and 15 years away for me. And 25 years away before the average everyday person, gets one.
Well, at some point, there's not going to be a need for a car. I mean, that's.
Well, now, when you think about self-driving car, you're still going to want a car, but you might not own a car. A car, you might pull up a phone or a glass and say, I need a ride to San Francisco, and one just shows up and picks you up, and you get in it, and it takes you where you want to go, and it charges you like Uber does for the ride, and it drops you off, and it goes and picks somebody else up, right? So when you have a real self-driving car, the whole idea of car ownership and how roads work and how travel works is gonna pretty radically change. But that's a ways out. We're talking 5 years at minimum, and that's for rich people. 15 years for me, and 25 years for a poor person.
Okay, so I hate to do this, but we're going to leave them wanting more because we have to go, and we'll try and do something earlier in the week for next week's show, since I'm going to be traveling next Friday.
Yeah.
So let's just go around.
I haven't even been watching the chat room, so let me just look through. Oh, somebody mentioned Glasshole. I am keeping a magazine on Flipboard for Google Glass called Glassholes. So search Flipboard for Glassholes. You'll find my magazine. Okay. Does it adjust with the amount of ambient light? Yes, it does. Actually, the display gets darker if you're out in bright sunlight, so it's easier to read out in bright sunlight, and it's fairly good for reading out in bright sunlight. Sometimes if you're looking into the sun, it's hard. You can't read it there, but most of the time I can actually see the display. It's the new puppy dog. Yeah, Tina's funny. Life changing. What else has come up in the chat room? I'm sorry.
All right. Well, while you're reading, John Taschek, why don't you summarize what you've learned from today?
I think I've learned that in one of the Gillmor games before, will you be shocked in the next year? And I think that's I said no. There's no way, and this proves it. There's nothing shocking about these devices. It's a little bit less than Robert expected, which is a little bit more than everybody else expected. So, I think there's a potential here for, the second device can be right in your eye is really interesting, and then you have multiple devices and how they're interconnected. I think that's where Google's really working. I think that's really a very strong asset that Google has. And I think the other companies have to follow that.
Kevin Marks.
I think the interesting part of this is the thing that Rob was saying isn't quite there, which is the notification piece. But I think my understanding of the dev docs, I read them, but I obviously haven't built anything with it yet, was that you can feed your own cards into it, and then you get a stream of cards that you can page through on it. Yeah. So instead of it being a notification that pops up, it becomes more like a Google Now thing that you can inject more information into, and I think that can be very interesting. Yeah. So we could feed news into you for that from different sources. So it becomes part of the notification bus that we've been talking about for a while. One app that would make sense. I met Evelyn Zuby on the train the other night, and she's built an app called Glancy, GLAN.se. And what you do is you take a photograph of somebody's outfit, and it tells you where to buy it. And that seems like a perfect Google Glass app.
Okay, so my thought is that, especially given what we saw happening yesterday in Watertown, and the way that the internet and cable television melded together, that we're going to see that happen. And I think that what will happen with Apple and Google is going to be the shocking thing that I didn't expect. So I'm disagreeing with my thoughts. I think that this will be a profound disruption, but not because of any single device, but because of the multiplicity of devices and how they are handed off in a software fabric.
For journalism, this is transformative. If I was in a place where
well, this is the show that I want to talk about next. because the whole concept of journalism last night. I mean, the old arguments, and by old I mean yesterday, earlier in the day arguments, going back about whether the Twitter is journalism, etc. That's all out the window. Mainstream media and social media merged yesterday, and that argument is irrelevant to what's going to happen moving forward, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if I see a news event happening in front of me, all I have to do is hold down and I'm recording, and very shortly I'm going to be streaming live as long as I have battery life to do that. I'm going to stream straight out to YouTube. I can already do a Google Hangout, by the way, with the glasses. And so I can already stream video, and it works pretty well. I've already tried it, although they don't let me stream to public yet. And so I think Google is really skittish about this privacy concern of this glass. They don't want you to walk in someplace and be live streaming out to the cloud and get in trouble with the privacy kinds of concerns that people are having with these things. But for journalism, we're going to solve that problem. Somebody's going to solve that problem.
I got to cut you off, Robert, because
Okay.
there's a whole show. The producer is going to kill me.
All right.
I want to thank Rackspace, and particularly Rob Legess, for getting this show back on the air. I want to thank NewTek and the TriCaster. I want to thank our producer and director, Tina Chase Gillmor. I want to thank Robert Scoble.
Thanks.
I want to thank Kevin Marks.
Thank you.
I want to thank John Taschek.
I am actually the Borg, not Robert Scoble.
Takes one to know one, right? Okay, so thanks to the chat room. Thanks for the early edition. This should be up on the web in about 2 hours, something like that. I'm Steve Gillmor. This has been the Gillmor Gang. Thanks to everybody who showed up. See you again next time. Bye-bye.